As I always say, and I'm sure she never gets bored of me saying, Jenny Harris does my job over in Bedford, but not quite as well. Jenny's now going to entertain you. It's taken me about 40 minutes to relax, so I hope Jenny can relax in a quicker time than that. She's very funny. But she also does a really good job over in the Bedford area, and she's a community support worker too, and she's coming towards me, and I'm a little bit scared. We had a few other things planned that we were going to do tonight, but they've kind of fallen through because a couple of people have dropped out. So some of these things are off-the-cuff stuff, so thank you for bearing with us. Everybody go mad for Jenny Harris!
I can take the mic off the stand, but I can't move anywhere anymore.
No, so we are.
Hi, hello everybody. As Mark said, I am a community support worker in Bedford. I do the same job as him, but not as well. I've been working for Site Concern for about 8 years now. I started on my birthday, so I can never forget the day I started. And the very first day I started, I was introduced to the great works of Site Concern by going to the White Cane Club in Bedford and entertained. So it's quite nice that I get a chance to give a little back tonight. I'm going to talk to you about some of the experiences I've had as a community support worker, working with blind and partially sighted people, because it's been, as Mark says, it's an immense privilege to work with people. But it's also very, very funny and exciting at times. When I first started the job, I was very green and I just wanted to help everybody. So the visit length should be between 40 minutes to an hour. I'd sometimes be there for 2 hours, retuning someone's radio, because frankly I didn't know what I was doing. But never mind, I went to this one lady's house and her television was on the floor. And she said, I have a terrible neck ache. So I said, well, what you need to do is raise your television up so you're looking directly at it. And I said, if you want, I'll move it for you. And I looked at my watch and I've got like 5 minutes before I was supposed to be leaving and going to the next client. So I thought, no problem, I'll move the television. As I went to pick the television up, I realised it was screwed to the stand underneath it. So I bought the telly and the stand and I went, have you got a screwdriver by chance? So by this time I was getting a bit flustered. I managed to unscrew the stand from the bottom of the television and I put the television onto her, lifted it by myself onto her big leather sofa. And as I sort of turned round, I put my hand on the cushion of the sofa. The television fell off the sofa, hit the floor, knocked into her trolley, which flew across the room, hit her in the back. It was like Mousetrap, the end of Mousetrap. It all just happened. And this trolley hit her in the back, pushed her against the door frame, and there was this sort of minute silence. No, not minute, sorry, a couple of seconds silence where she said, have you just dropped my television? And I went, yes. Because the sound of television hitting the floor is unmistakable. You don't need to see it, you can just hear it. So I had to go back to my boss and say, if Mrs. Smith phones up and says her television is not working, just let me know and I'll buy her a new one. But she didn't ring up and she's dead now. No.
That's the level. Okay, we'll stick with that.
Goes to the territory. Anyway, I was talking to one of our trustees. A lot of our trustees have visual impairments too, and she was telling me she was wandering down Tavistock Street one day and she needed a new television. And she went into Michael R. Peters and she was looking at the different televisions in the store. And the store assistant came up to her and said, well, you're looking for anything in particular, madam? And she said, well, I would like a really high definition screen because, I can't see very well, so it's quite important. And I'd probably like a a bigger screen, maybe 32, 36-inch screen. And the man said, "You do realise you're in the aquarium shop?" The same lady, actually, she has a guide dog, and there is a lot of there's a lot of fallacies about guide dogs. Guide dogs do not know the way to the pub. They might learn the route, depending on who owns the guide dog, but they don't actually know the way there. But she was at a do the other day, and she said, this lady came up to her and she said, "I'm so terribly sorry to hear about your dog." And the lady said, "What? Sorry?" She goes, "Your dog, I've just heard, your dog. Your dog's blind." No. She said, "I'm blind, the dog sees, it's fine." But I have to tell you, this is a true story, and this is nothing related to work. I was in a restaurant, and I talk to my children quite a lot. When you work with people who are visually impaired, you come across some amazing people, and part of our job is to help them fill in benefits applications. And a lot of them, it's fine, you go and you say, "Can you do this?" "No." "Can you do this?" "No." But some of them make the best of it. They go, "Oh, I can do that, dear. I can do that, dear." And you go, "No, that's no good for the form. I need to write down that you can't do it, you know." And this man I was working with, he was in his 80s, and he said, "Well," I said, "do you have any trouble getting in and out of a chair?" "Well, I'm okay," he said. "I did get stuck in the car the other week, in the back of the car. Couldn't get out." And I said, "Oh, okay. How long were you stuck for?" He said, "Oh, about 20 minutes. I said, "Why were you stuck for 20 minutes? He said, "Oh, I was laughing so much I couldn't get out." No. But I was in a restaurant with my children one night, and a man came in and with his wife, and he had a guide dog, and he sat down. He was on the table across the way from us, and the boys were like, "Look, Mum, look, guide dog, guide dog." Yes. So, no, don't point, children, don't point. You're 90, you've seen one before. But this husband and wife started having a row, and the man was a little bit, he did seem a bit anxious, but the waitress came over and she said, "Oh, nice dog," and he went, "It's a guide dog." And she said, "Well, can I get it some water or something?" And he was a bit nasty. He wasn't very nice. He wasn't very happy, because I think he was having a bit of a row with his wife. He said, "Do you have a menu that I can read, a large print menu?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, we'll go and get one." So she wandered off, and she came back with this menu. And he sat there reading the menu, and his wife had just had enough of him by now. And she just sort of watched, as we did, while he read his menu over the candle. And then, after about a minute, she leaned forward and said, "Brian, your menu is on fire." At which point they left. But part of my job is, the biggest privilege I've ever had in my job was to work with a young girl who I helped with some confidence building. I worked with her from the age of 9. No, I wasn't 9. She was 9. Until she was 12 years old. And when I first met her, she was very, very shy, introverted, a little bit like myself. I could see a lot of that in her. And I worked with her over a couple of years, on and off. Took her swimming, took her shopping, did all the lovely things that girls like to do. We spent a lot of time in Poundland with her going, "How much is this?" "It's a pound." "It's a pound." "How much have I got?" "You've got a pound." "You've been here 20 minutes. Find something you like." Anyway, one of the reasons that I worked with this young girl is because she was absolutely terrified of animals. And part of her long-term planning would be, hopefully, that she may one day have a guide dog. But she's terrified. I would walk down the embankment with her. She'd be frightened of a duck that was swimming on the river. She was that frightened. So over time, I worked with her. And we were lucky enough, about 3 years ago, to go with Mark and another group of VIPs to the zoo. And we ended up with this young girl hand-feeding a rhinoceros. and it doesn't get bigger than that, I assure you. But I worked, as I say, on and off with this girl, and my last meeting with her, she changed schools. I hadn't seen her for a while. She wanted to go to gym club after school. So I was called back in to escort her, and we went up, picked her up from home, took her into gym club, said, right, I said, what would you like me to do? I said, do you want me to stand by the equipment, or do you want me to talk you through where the run-up is? And she looked up at me and she said, Jenny, I want you to sit in the corner and don't embarrass me. And with that, I thought my work was done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me.